I was like, aren't you the guys that like mess with like bombs and shit like that? Like, I'm not trying to get blown up. I was like, fuck no. Then he started piquing my interest. He like started describing it more, and I'm like, oh, it sounds kind of cool. And dude hit me with the meanest body shot I ever felt in my life. And I went down, and I like did not do the rest of that practice. I was like, all right, I'm done. And he was like, well, if you come back tomorrow, you can be on the team. Usually when I tell people they want to see like who I am, come watch me fight or watch me fight. You want to see me in my truest form, come watch me fight. Like for me to be operational or do anything, I wouldn't be able to drive without my glasses.
How do you fight with contacts in?
No, hell no. Fucking.
Oh, so you can see that?
Horrible story about having contacts in during sparring. Somebody like finger fucked my eye. I lodged my contact like in there, and like I had to like. Luckily, we had an EMT training with us. She had to like shove her fingers in there and like find it and then pull that bitch out. That was the worst pain I ever felt. Minus somebody scratching my cornea. That was probably the second worst pain I ever felt.
But you could see. But you could see the like. Do you ever get blurry vision then when you're fighting?
No, like I can see them. Like for two guys to engage in Mortal Kombat, they got to be within touching distance.
Yeah.
So he has to be close enough. So like once we get close enough, like I can see him. Plus, I think the bright ass lights kind of like help with seeing him because it's like they do focus the lights on us. So like that might help a little bit. But like I can't see like his facial expressions, but I can see like his body moving, and I feel like I've done this enough that
has it ever happened where you're like, oh shit, I didn't really see that coming?
No. I mean, unless I just didn't see it coming because I just normally he faked me out. I thought he was gonna do this and he did something else. But I can see and I can feel and kind of see like what he's doing just based off of experience, like just the way body moves. Because if you're gonna throw a punch or a kick, nobody's reinventing the wheel. You might do it a little slicker or some weird thing, but it still comes from the same body position.
I feel that. All right, you guys ready? All right, guys, welcome back. Passion Profit Podcast. We have another amazing guest, Xavier Vines, EOD Tech and pro fighter. So yeah, how you doing, bro? How's the drive?
The drive was good. A little rainy.
Yeah.
My buddy drove me up here because,
yeah.
Parker.
Yeah.
Also, before I start, I do want to say that whatever I'm about to say is like my personal views and not the Marine Corps or the DOD's. So, don't be trying to confuse those two things, please.
There we go. Let them know.
Got to give the disclaimer.
Yeah. So how you doing? How's the week? You did the field. You were in the field this week.
Yeah, we did. We just did kind of like a little bit of training with the engineers, just getting them spun up on basic demo procedures and stuff like that. So it was nice. Just they were a pretty competent group, so
that's always good.
It wasn't really difficult for them to teach, and they were willing to learn. So that's always nice when you got people that want to learn. So.
I feel that.
All right. So first and foremost, tell us a little bit about your backstory. Where are you from, and what's your current record as a pro fighter?
All right. So I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, born and raised. Home of the Bengals.
You a Bengals fan?
I am, and I'm not one of them bandwagoners. Not
like
just because Joe Burrow. Like I was supporting him, like kind of when I joined, when I left, because it was like, attachment to home.
Yeah.
But I'm not a bandwagoner. I didn't just jump on when we went to the Super Bowl that one year. But yeah, Cincinnati, Ohio, born and raised. Grew up in a little suburban town.
Yeah.
Nothing really special. That's why I left. Joined the Marine Corps.
Okay.
Back in 2014, so almost like 10 years ago, actually, we're coming up on.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, it's been a long time away from home. Yeah, being around. I haven't been around as much as I would have liked, but I've been around the country a lot and been to some places overseas. But just being away from home like this was probably good for me. I'm glad I left because when I go back, I'm like, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
I love it, but there's nothing there.
What's your record?
Currently, unfortunately, I fought last week, and I was hoping to say a better record, but it is what it is. But I'm 2-2 right now, so 2 wins, 2 losses,
and that's pro.
Yeah.
And your amateur record?
As an MMA fighter, I was 9-5 as an amateur. All California fights. Had a couple boxing matches. I think I went 1-1, and then I did a bunch of Muay Thai fights. I think I was like 6-2.
Have you been to Thailand?
No, that's a dream actually.
Okay.
To go to Thailand.
He's going. Are you still going this summer? Okay.
And then they fly out to Thailand.
Yeah. So he's a big fighter too, and
yeah.
Nice. So we went to Thailand. together with Barker, and like,
Oh, yeah, he told me about
yeah,
that.
that was pretty sick.
Yeah.
But it's the motherland of Muay Thai, so
Yeah, that is one of my primaries, like one of my things that I like, my disciplines.
Okay.
So like I do want to go to Thailand. I just want to go there for like a month and then just train. One of my coaches actually currently is over there right now with his business. So
Okay.
I do always have a point of contact to go over there and kind of live over there, so and stay with them. So
yeah.
Nice, man.
So Cincinnati, Ohio, what made you join the Marine Corps?
So honestly, it was kind of like random. The Marine Corps kind of just came out of nowhere. I was actually trying to join the Navy because my uncle, growing up, I was very fond of growing up because he was always traveling and would go to countries, bring back little souvenirs and give me them. So I wanted to join the Navy because I thought like, oh, they travel the world and do stuff. That's cool.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't know what the Marine Corps was for like most of my life. Didn't know that was a branch. I mean, I've seen the commercials, but like I didn't pay no mind. My mom would kick me out the house pretty much is what kind of drove that. Like there were recruiters like hit me up during like my wrestling seasons in high school. Like, oh, like because I'm athletic, obviously they're going for like athletes because they want to knock that part. That's easy to find somebody who's athletic. Yeah. Just hopefully they're smart and can hold a gun, and then you got a Marine right there, pretty much, at the base level. But they were like stalking me and like, oh, come on, man, join the Marine Corps. Like you're a specimen. Like I'm like, we'll see. My dad was super against it. He was like, you're not joining. You're not about to die for this country. My dad has his own little views on everything. Love the man, but he has like views. We don't agree with some things, but it is what it is. Pretty much like my mom kicked me out the house, and then I was just like, well, I'm homeless now, so where are them recruiters at? Yeah. The other branches took forever to apply, and the Marine Corps was like, we can send you to boot camp in 2 weeks.
There we go.
I was like, all right, bet. Like fucking I'm homeless, like
we
for a little bit. Obviously eventually me and my parents kind of rehashed. It was like a short little homeless stint, like for like a day. And then like we like rehashed, got like my church that I was attached to kind of talked to them, and then they got me back in the house, and then it was pretty much just like, I'm leaving, so this is what you guys wanted, so here we go.
And you were a wrestler in high school, you said?
Yeah, I got wrestled in a little bit in middle school, and then in high school that was where I like super focused on it.
Did you go CIF or state or anything for wrestling, or were you just?
Nah, I always came up short. Like my last 2 years was really my junior year was my best year. I like made it to districts, which for Ohio it's like sectionals, districts, and state, and I just came up short at districts. And then my senior year kind of started focusing on girls a little too much, and then like that took me away from my focus on athletics.
So were you like 18 when you joined then?
I was 19. I like tried to work for a little bit. When I graduated, and then that didn't go too well. I was like working at like jobs like Walmart and McDonald's. Didn't like doing that. I wanted to do something more. So
nothing fighting wise though.
Not at that point. Like I was kind of watching the UFC a little bit, and I can get into how I got into fighting.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Actually, right now. So pretty much, I was me and my dad. Like I was growing up, I was always trying to like find ways to bond with my father. Like he was very busy growing up. Like he worked a lot because he was supporting us. He worked like 3 jobs, so he was super busy, always working or sleeping to get ready to go to work in the evening. So any little moment I could get to spend time with him, I usually was watching fights with him because he'd be watching them, and I'd just go downstairs and watch with him. And I was watching these fights, and I was watching like they were like 145ers, and I was like weighing that much around that time, and I was like, those guys weigh 145 pounds. Like, I mean, they look kind of big, but I was like, I weigh 145 pounds. I always thought like MMA fighters were like Brock Lesnar, big dudes before I like got into it and learned about fighters. So I'm like, oh, like those guys are my size. Like I could do that. I could be on TV one day fighting. Like, and then I like sparked the interest in it. Like immediately I was like, what do I need to do to get this going? Like I already have the wrestling background. I just need to figure out how to learn some striking, but just due to having to work and all that stuff, I didn't really have the time. So when I joined, sorry.
No, go for it.
So then when I was joining the Marine Corps, my recruiter, he, you know how recruiters are, they do their job. He related to me with fighting. That's how he got me. And he's like, yeah, we got fighting in the Marine Corps. We got a wrestling team, everything. Like, you can do your job and you can fight. And I was like, oh, say less. Sign them papers immediately without even thinking about it. Didn't see fighting though until like 3 years in. So obviously you got to go through like, basic training.
When you initially joined, what was your MOS?
My first MOS, I was a air defense system technician. It was some computer stuff that was related to like radar systems.
So you worked more with like the air wings and stuff then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes in. This will go into how I started fighting. I got stuck at a schoolhouse, so I went to a schoolhouse, graduated, and for whatever reason, they were like, "Let's keep him here. Let's not give him any field experience or go out and actually do anything. Let's just keep him at the non-deployable schoolhouse." So then I'm stuck in 29 Palms in a non-deployable unit, not doing anything other than working, supporting the schoolhouse. From sunrise to 4 when training's done. So then I found this gym, Fight Club 29, ran by Mark Galecko. Got to give him a little shout out because he started everything for me. And pretty much I started grappling because all I had was grappling at that point. And he was like, "Well, let's get you some grappling tournaments. You win some of those, maybe we can talk about you striking." So I won some. I won my first 2, and he was like, "All right, let's get you some striking." I remember my first boxing class. Dude hit me with the meanest body shot I ever felt in my life. And I went down, and I did not do the rest of that practice. I was like, "All right, I'm done." And he was like, "Well, if you come back tomorrow, you can be on the team." And I was like, "All right." So I thought about it. I was like, "Damn, that shit hurt."
And
I don't think I've ever been punched like that.
did that have any association with the Marine Corps, or was it just a fight club outside in 29 Palms?
So it wasn't like a Marine Corps like the Marine Corps boxing team or anything.
Yeah.
It was just a team that
Had a bunch of Marines
that retired Sergeant Major had made.
Okay.
And it was more for between deployments. So his whenever Marines came back, they had an outlet kind of thing. That's his whole thing with it. And then it just became a team. So yeah, I mean, I feel like it might as well be the Marine Corps fight team because I feel like it's the only one that's pretty organized how it is. But I guess Marine Corps doesn't look at MMA like that or something. I don't know. Like I said, I don't speak for the Marine Corps. So
and so that was so you got stuck in a non-deployable unit within the first 3 years.
Yeah,
and then
my first contract was entirely there.
Oh, okay.
Really? Oh shit.
In 29?
Yeah.
Damn, that's rough. That's
So then-
hot summers.
Yeah, I mean, I got used to it. I was devastated. I'm like, 29 Palms. I hear this place sucks. I don't want to be here. I was trying to leave. I wanted to do MSG. Somebody talked me out of it for some weird reason. When I look back, why did I listen to him? But
Well, it landed you to where you're at now.
Yeah,
Because if
so-
you were MSG, you for sure would not be able to fight. I don't think so.
So I mean, I used my time wisely there. So I just focused on fighting when I found that gym, and I just fought under him for the next from 2017 to 2019, the last couple of years there. And I got a lot of fights in. Most of my career was done there.
Okay.
Was that all amateur?
Yeah, it was all amateur. He didn't want us going pro just because there was no pros there. It was it was a small gym, and it's like Marine Corps, so you got people come in and go in.
Yeah.
So there's no set group of people. Usually, it's always shifting around. Coaches leave because they're like, "I'm here to be an instructor for the schoolhouse," and then they do their 3 years and leave.
Yeah. So how did you find yourself? So leave the fighting, go back to the Marine Corps. How did you find yourself from your MOS you had to an EOD tech, and what was the process for that?
Okay. Yeah. So for me, it was I think we're doing some kind of inspection, and my boss wanted me to inspect EODs, the EOD section, because for whatever reason, our air defense school had the advanced training center for EOD attached to it for some reason. I think they just needed somewhere to put it, and it was a schoolhouse, and it was a good training area because 29 Palms is a good premier training area. So they put that there. So they were a part of us. So I never interacted with them too much other than sometimes I would drive 7 tons for them or Humvees whenever they needed stuff driven because they had students. So obviously I support the schoolhouses. Yeah. So that was my prime directive as maintenance. But I think I was like helping him do inspections, and like one of the dudes just had asked me, he was like, have you ever thought about being an EOD tech? And I didn't know like EOD for real. I just knew like they mess with bombs. Mm-hmm. So I was like, aren't you the guys that like mess with like bombs and shit like that? I'm not trying to get blown up. I was like, fuck no. I was like, I'm about to get out. I got all my limbs. Like I haven't been put in danger. Like I can literally get out and be good. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I got like this background in like communication, so like I can do something with that. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. But then he started piquing my interest. He like started describing it more, and I'm like, I mean, it sounds kind of cool. I didn't really get what I wanted out of the Marine Corps being at this non-deployable unit. Like, never got to deploy or do anything. So maybe I can get that out of this. So I just said, fuck it. I was like 2 months from getting out. I extended, and I was like, all right, I'll extend, do a screener. So the way you do it is you'll do a screener, like you do a screening process, which consists of just getting familiarized with like just basic EOD things, like doing recons, so like being able to identify ordnance. They just kind of test your critical thinking skills pretty much. That's like the whole thing, is to test your critical thinking skills, because that's what they want.
Yeah.
EOD needs critical thinkers, people that think outside of the box. Like, you're given a problem, how are you going to figure it out? Here are the tools you can use, but how can you use these tools to help you accomplish whatever mission you need to do? Because sometimes it's not straightforward. Like, you do something to something, and now it's like in a different orientation. Now you have to figure out how to make what you have work. Or you might not be able to do something. Like, say you got like it's a simple scenario. Like, you got like a bomb, we'll just say, just for layman's term, underneath a car, and it's near a school. Obviously, you can't just like blow it up because it's near a school. So you got to figure out a way to either neutralize it or safe it so you can move it away and get rid of it, so it's not near the school, so it's not going to damage anything. Because we don't just blow everything up. Like, for whatever reason, people think that you just blow everything up. Sometimes you got to just kind of neutralize it, weaken it, make it less of a hazard so you can handle it, and then take it to another location and then do that, or just get rid of it. And then you got to be able to think outside the box to be able to do that, because some scenarios aren't just simply, you can't just pick up something and move it. You got to understand how things work. But anyways, they're testing your critical thinking skills. You go through the bomb suit, and everybody hears about that. You wear the bomb suit. You do like some math problems or something to think about while you're in there, sweating to death, making sure you can still think while you're in there. Just make sure you don't have claustrophobia, or you don't just panic while you're in a confined space. The thing is heavy and hot. And then just other technical skills, just to see if you would be a good fit and possibly make it through EOD school. So then once you go through the screener and you get back, and then like you hear that you've been accepted, then you'll be an OJIT. So that's like on the job training. We say OJIT, just pronounce the letters. And then you'll just be, if you have good like OJIT wranglers, they'll just be teaching you stuff that you need to get through school. It's really all they're going to be teaching you, like simple tools, like basic demo, non-electric, electric setups for demolitions, and then that's messing with the tools like the 50 cal and stuff like that, just stuff like that, and just giving you as much of a head start for school as you can get. And then you go to school, EOD school, which is in Florida, and then you're in school with like a bunch of Air Force, Army, and Navy cats. They get like previous training, like they go through other schools before they get to EOD school, or we just gotta kind of learn for like 3 to 6 months on OJT, on the job training, and like they get like a little bit of a head start. And then like we all go through the same school, it's all the same training. Sorry, my head was itchy. All the same training. You just learn pretty much what you need to do to be a basic EOD tech. And all that stuff. So it's a long process. School's kind of long. I mean, you're in like a nice area. Niceville, Florida was nice.
Pensacola.
But, like you're like on that panhandle right there, and then you go through school. It's not terribly hard, but you know, it can be challenging. But you know,
how long have you been at tech for?
We're approaching 3 years.
And then can you just tell everyone exactly what an EOD tech does? I mean, I guess you kind of said it, blow stuff up. Is that what it is?
I mean, in like layman's term, yeah, but there's like more to it. It's more complicated than that, because it's a very technical field. Like, it's not just easy as just let me just blow this thing up and get rid of it where it lays. So EOD, Explosive Ordnance Disposal Technician, is what that stands for. Pretty much, like, our job is to protect property and personnel by mitigating or disposing of explosive hazards, whatever that may be, whether that's like a bomb, grenade, projectile, fireworks, like just give whatever the situation, IEDs, like for guys not even in the military, people be using those here. So just stuff like that. And it's just it's a very technical field. It's not like impossible to become an EOD tech. Like, you know, it's a variety of people in the field, including myself. But
if you fail school, do you just go back to your MOS?
Yeah. If you fail at school, yeah. So there's there's a penalty, obviously. Like, you won't get like in trouble, but like obviously the attrition rate's kind of high, so they like you are projected, a certain percentage of people are projected to fail out of the school. You'll just go back to your old MLS. Obviously, there has to be like spots. I've seen some people where their MLS didn't exist anymore, so they like had to go to another. I was just gonna
ask. I was gonna be like, well, like, wouldn't they just get reclassed if they fail out of the school? You know, but
I feel like that would be hard. And that I asked because that would be the only fear I have is to be like doing my MOS, go to another one, and then
You
you
fail
fail
out.
and you're like,
Now I gotta be a cook.
Yeah, now I'm a fucking cook in
Now, if
Okinawa, Japan.
if you already have a prior MLS and it's like there's space, like obviously they just lost their spot with you leaving, but obviously they could easily like fill that with somebody else filling in your spot.
Yeah.
But I've seen it. People just go back to their old MLS and they're just chilling, doing their own thing. Some people come back.
With a longer contract.
Yeah.
And no bonus money.
Yeah, pretty much. But you can you can go back.
Oh, you could.
If you have to if you do want to go back, you do possibly have to get rescreened and all that stuff. So and all that, and then they have to accept you again. It just depends what happened.
Yeah.
It's a case by case basis.
Yeah. So you're almost at 10 years in the military. You're pursuing fighting. Is there anything in you that tells you to wait it out for the 20? Or is it just no matter what, I'm going to get out before 20, whether it's fighting or not fighting?
Yeah. I'm at that crossroad right now where literally I'm at that crossroad. At 10 years, I'm halfway done. So, and these 10 years flew by. So part of me is I could just do 10 more years. It's not that hard. I'm going to stand and get more and more responsibilities, but then as you pick up rank, you're going to be further and further away from actually doing stuff and more of a supervisory role. But then you're going to have more responsibilities. So I'm obviously the way I'm looking at it is I can either be, I'm at that point where it's either I'm going to have to decide, do I want to be a great EOD tech and an average fighter and shut down that goal, or be a great fighter and an average EOD tech. Obviously, I have two fields that I can't be average in.
Yeah.
I have to be a great EOD tech so that I can be a valuable asset to the Marine Corps when they need me.
Yeah.
And then you got the other half of me that wants to be an amazing fighter as I can be. I don't want to half-ass it. Both of them I can get hurt, fucked up. You don't play fighting. If you've heard that saying before.
Yeah.
You don't just go in there and fuck around. That dude's trying to hurt you. So you need to be able to defend yourself and hurt him back and stop him from doing that. So people do get fucked up and people have died fighting for real. So in the cage, in the ring, it's happened. So it's very less likely. Obviously, we've lost more EOD techs probably than MMA fighters have been lost, but there is a possibility. And really, I care about my well-being, so I don't want to get fucked up in either of those two career paths. So I'm really trying to make a decision currently right now if I want to do both. I've been managing it, but I think I was just lucky enough that my first enlistment was very passive. I didn't have to do much. I just supported the schoolhouse, and it was a 9-to-5 job. Where now I have a career where we get used often. I'm a valuable asset, so we got to go places, we got to deploy, we got to do all this stuff, and it's a very technical field that requires a lot of training and dedication to your craft, so you can be good at the basic stuff. So it's second nature. You don't have to think about it; you just do it. And then when you come across those complicated scenarios, you have the basics perfected. So then you just compartmentalize it and solve the problem. So personally, right now I'm leaning towards getting out.
Okay.
I do want to be. There's stuff that I want to do at fighting, and it's a young man's game, and I'm approaching 30. I turned 30 on the 22nd. So, and I gave myself I'm gonna professionally fight until 35. So if I want to chase that dream, I need to start. I need to do that now.
Yeah.
Because I'm running out of time, and we're about to do something for a long ass time where I'm already gonna lose most of this year anyways. So I really only got 4 years left to try to make a big run with a big promotion. I don't really care who, UFC, Bellator, PFL, 1FC, I don't care. As long as I fought for a big promotion, I'll be happy with that. And that's what I want to do is fight for a major promotion, fight at that high level, and just see how I do.
How does your did you have some?
No, go for it.
How does your current command, your CO and stuff, take your fighting career? Do they work with you at all when it comes to training or fighting, or are they just this is what we're doing, fuck off?
I've been blessed to have a very supportive boss. They love that I fight. I have a good hobby. I could be doing something else.
Yeah.
And stupid. I could just be sitting in my room drinking and stuff like that, or not doing something. This is my physical fitness and my passion. Like I get two birds in one stone. Like, that's why I'm like in good shape. They don't have to worry about me being out of shape. Like I'll be fully capable to physically apply myself in any manner that's needed of me because I take care of myself. But obviously work comes first. So that when there's ranges, like I got to do that. And then luckily we don't like stay out in the field for like, or I haven't at least yet, stayed out in the field for like 30 days straight. Yeah. So like luckily it's like segmented where we just do the training, do a couple overnights, and then, and then I'll like go back and then I can train or whatever. My team's like super, like I let my coach know, like, hey, I'm going to be gone for these many days. And he's like, all right, we'll make it up on the weekends or something. So I make it up. Like and even when I'm out there, like I can do something. Like if I need to, I can run, I can do push-ups. As long as you do something, I feel like that's better than just doing nothing.
Doing nothing.
And then even with the work we do, like it's still physical. Like it's a lot of moving shit around and walking. Like I am doing stuff. It's just not, I might not just be hitting the mitts for 30 minutes straight at high intensity. Say again?
They didn't send you an MAI or anything like that?
I actually was on an MAI course. Getting ready for this last fight, I might have like bit off a little bit more than I could chew, trying to do the Marine Corps, extra Marine Corps stuff, and train for this fight. But I thought I could do it. But maybe I'm getting a little older, so I got to be careful. But I was on an MAI course. I like hurt my hip doing something. We were grappling, and I like tore my hip flexor a little bit, and I couldn't walk for like a week. I ran a PFT. I think I made it worse. And then the next day we had to run a CFT, and I like could not walk that morning. So I had to tell the dude, I was like, look, man, I can't. Like, I don't want to tear my shit. Like, we're about to deploy. Like, and I don't want to tear my hip.
And that was right before this last fight you had.
Yeah. It was like 2 weeks. Like halfway through the camp, I like tore my hip flexor, and I couldn't fight. I'm not making excuses. The guy beat me fair and square. Like, it's not, he didn't beat me because I hurt my hip flexor. He beat me because he beat me. I don't make excuses first and foremost. I'm going to put that out there.
Respect.
But I did get injured, so like there was stuff I couldn't do. But I was like, luckily, thank God for Sid, our athletic trainer and my teammate and a good friend. She got me good. She got me walking within like that week and boxing again. So luckily I had like a good resource to help. So I was thinking about pulling out, and I was like, I don't want to. I've never pulled out before. I've made it to every fight I've ever been scheduled to have, and like that's just my thing. Is I will always fight. I don't care how compromised I am. It's like my thing. I love fighting too much.
Yeah. But has the Marine Corps ever gotten in the way of any fights or like anything like that?
Nah, not really. No. I mean, I kind of feel like I told myself that this last fight, or maybe like, I mean, we are doing a workup, so like I felt like some of the stuff got in the way, but that was just more like me thinking like maybe I shouldn't have took this fight. But yeah,
dude, dude, I literally just lost. How has it been training? Excuse me. How has it been in the Marine Corps with training? Like, because sometimes the Marine Corps, like you said, basically will take a toll on you. Have you found the happy medium of like, okay, work, and then I could put like X amount of hours into fighting? I mean, without literally beating yourself up or like, wanting to just die.
The people I work for now, and I guess just the way EOD is set up, like we work until like there's no work or the day's done. Like we're not like you got other commands where you like work all day just to be working. Like people don't be getting off until like 9 because they got shit they got to do. Because their bosses told them. Luckily, my bosses are reasonable in my mind, where they're like, all right, we're done for the day. Like we don't got anything else for you. So I'll get off at like 4 unless they need something, and then I can go eat, and then I can go to practice. Pretty much I work the morning, and then I train in the evenings. And I've been blessed this whole time I've been fighting to have that luxury. So, and like I said, I mean, unfortunately, it just literally I just work and train, so I have no real time for any personal things like building relationships with people or anything like that. But it's the sacrifice that I'm willing to make.
It happens. I want to be good at it. No love of your life yet.
Yeah,
it's all good.
Maybe. We'll see.
And then what do you currently practice in? Or the
like
martial arts? Yeah, your disciplines.
So my main disciplines are wrestling, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, boxing, and a little bit of judo. The main one that I focus on that I fell in love with, like I said, I grew up wrestling, and I always have a love for wrestling, but I love Muay Thai. just hitting somebody and like just punching them, elbowing them, kneeing them. I love slamming people around too, but just hitting somebody is just a different thing. Just feeling this is where I get into that primitive thing that I love about fighting. Just feeling my knuckles just fucking graze into the face of my opponent or even my training partner sometimes.
Damn.
This is it's just a really good feeling. And luckily I'm in like they're fighters as well, so like they feel the same way. Like me and my shout out to my buddy Cody Warner as my trainer. He's my main training partner at my current gym, Coastal Combat, which I can't believe I haven't mentioned them yet. Got to shout them out too. So me and him be beating the fuck out of each other like every practice. We spar, we might as well be fighting. Like that's like, I mean, I feel like we get good benefit from that. Like we pretty much fight each other. Like it's like an inch from us fully fighting each other. And that's how we like spar each other, and it's like fun. Like we both know we're not trying to hurt each other, but we are trying to give each other that work because we just know that we're just like we can be better than everyone else. So like if we keep pushing each other to the limits like this, then we'll just keep helping each other grow, and then there's nothing we need to fear from our opponents because we already seen it all already.
Who wins in a street fight? Me and Mitch versus you? You by yourself, me and Mitch?
Me, 100%.
Fuck.
I don't know. I mean,
we have to run it after.
We'll I mean, unless you guys pull out a gun, obviously guns beat fighters.
I'll take the legs. You go high.
But straight up fighting, I feel like I can handle 2 people. Unless you guys know. I mean, I also know. I don't know what you guys know.
That's it. We're going to the club tonight. Taking Xavier with us. Have you been in any street fights or had to like handle outside of practice? And
I mean, I've been in like a few like little outside of the gym like scuffles or whatever, but it's not really like I wouldn't really call them fights.
Yeah.
Like something happens, I punch the dude in the face, and I tell him like, can you like I usually don't try to. I mean, if you ask Barker, he'll say opposite. But depending on how much I've been drinking, I usually don't try to start conflicts.
Yeah.
Drunk me, I talk a lot of shit. So
shit.
I'll be like, oh fuck you all, beat the fuck out of you, blah blah blah. But like normal me, like if I'm sober enough, I don't like go seeking.
Barker's like that too. So we put you and Barker in the club together for sure fighting.
Damn.
He's never told me that. We'll have to we'll see how it is when we're out and about over there. But yeah, no, I don't like. I try to avoid conflict because I like know what that can lead to. Like,
yeah, and you respect it too.
Yeah, like I get no joy out of fighting somebody that probably doesn't know how to fight.
Yeah.
I get nothing out of that. What do I get out of beating somebody up that doesn't know what the fuck they're doing?
Yeah.
Like, I gain nothing from that. The thing I love about fighting is I love the challenge and the thing that, like, that guy could hurt me.
Yeah.
Like, again, I get into this primitive stuff. I love the idea when I'm fighting somebody that they can hurt me. They can fuck me up. But I have the option to fuck them up too. And I want to see if they can do it. Like, I haven't been put out yet. Nobody's knocked me out. But every time I go into a fight, I'm always thinking, like, maybe this is the guy to do it. And I want to see if he can.
Yeah.
And if he can't, he needs to do something else. Or it's going to be a long night for him.
So you said earlier, like, you found fighting through wanting to get quality time with, like, your pops. Would you say that, would you just accredit that to, like, I guess at what point did it click, like, damn, like, I really enjoy this and, like, it's a healthy hobby. I'm going to see the potential in it. Or did it all just kind of align when you were sitting in 29 Palms watching fighting with your dad?
So he like sparked the interest. Like now it's more it's autonomously me. Like I love fighting. Like it has nothing to do with him anymore. Like he started the interest just unknowingly exposing me to it. But it's all like me now. Like I'm doing this because I just love it.
Love it.
I'm just that passionate about it. There's like a couple things that also got me into fighting. It's not just him. It's like the little nerd part of me. Like I grew up, and this was another thing that me and him did together is we would play Street Fighter growing up.
Okay.
And like,
is that a video?
Yeah, it's a video game.
Yeah, video game. Yeah. A little 2D fighting game, like used to be in the arcades and stuff. Street Fighter 2, one of the million variants they made of that one. But I'd play that, and like just the little characters doing stuff, and they fought, and I'm just like these guys literally like just travel around the world and just beat the shit out of each other. That sounds like a fun job if I could do that. Obviously, it's a video game, so it's not real. Lo and behold, that's it. It's been a job this whole time. Like, and that's what fucking MMA fighters are. You just travel and fight people. And there's like a certain character in there that led me to an actual real life person. His name was character's name was Fei Long, I think, based off of Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee character. So I like Bruce Lee, as like his philosophies. And this is where I get into like why I do fighting and what I want to my end goal for fighting to be. I don't know what part, like if I can.
Go for it.
Yeah, go for it.
So I've watched a lot of his like interviews just when he's talking about fighting and like just what he thinks about it. And, like,
Bruce Lee, correct?
This is Bruce Lee.
Okay.
And just how he spoke about fighting just kind of resonated with me, and kind of changed my mind on like yeah, I fight for fun and everything, but I'm fighting because I'm trying to. He said something where like if you master like your, I can't quote him, so don't quote me or whatever, but I don't have the quote in front of me. But like it takes a lifetime to master oneself. And you just need to figure out your way to master yourself. And I feel like for me, fighting is the way that I master who I am as a person. It's literally fighting is how and this is how this is where I get into my own philosophies. Fighting is like, it's an art. It's a martial art. It is an art, just like music and regular art and stuff like that. And the only thing is my medium is myself, and the canvas is either my opponent, the bag, the gym that I'm training in, and it's just how I express myself. Usually when I tell people they want to see like who I am, come watch me fight or watch one of my fights.
Mm-hmm.
Usually watch me live because you'll get like a live of how I like handle myself, how I deal with things. You want to see me in my truest form? Come watch me fight. That's like where you'll see. It'll tell you everything you need to know. You don't even need to know anything about fighting. You just watch me in there, do my thing, see my face, and see how much fun I'm having. That's me in my purest essence, I believe. I've always been a fighter. That's just what it's always been. And I'm not saying I grew up fighting people and beating people up. I actually got bullied a lot when I was a kid. I was a little small,
Yeah.
I didn't hit 100 pounds until high school, so I was a little puny thing. I got bullied. I was a premature baby, so I guess I just didn't grow. But yeah, like, so I grew up like getting bullied. I don't bully anybody, and I don't believe in that. Even with fighting, like I don't use my fighting to like I want to overpower somebody. That's why I said like I don't like fighting people that don't know what they're doing. So, but like when my philosophies with this is like fighting is like a parallel to life. Like literally that's how I look at like my everyday. I just use fighting to kind of like help me solve my problems when I'm thinking about stuff that I'm dealing with. Like just say you're going through something.
Yeah.
Like that's like, for me, like if you had a bad day, that's like if you got like knocked down, like somebody hit you with the cleanest body shot of all time, and you like in a boxing match at least I'll say, because in MMA you don't have time to get up, and you get that 10 count. So you can either sit there for those 10 seconds that they're counting you out. You can accept like this hurts. I don't want to get up. Sometimes it hurts that much, but I've been hit with some where I just feel like, and I've tested it, where somebody got one, I go down and I count to 10, and I'm like, can I get up? Half of it is just you. Like, you can get up. It hurts. You know he's going to go right for that spot again because he knows that it hurt you. He knows if he hits you again, or he doesn't even have to hit it that hard. He can graze it. He knows that shit's going to hurt you. You just need to be like, do I want to deal with that? It's just like with any other problems. Like, do you want to deal with your problems? Or do you want to like, accept them, submit to them? Do you want to overcome them? It's like up to you. And I feel like fighting helps me get to that point where I feel like you have more control over your life than you think you do. Like just because shit's happening or bad shit's happening to you, like you can overcome what you choose to overcome. Sometimes you might need to take an L. It'll help. You learn from those. Like you win too much, like feel like you get a little complacent. Like, oh, I don't need to do this anymore. Like I'm good. Like I've had those moments in my career. There was one time I won like 10 fights in a row between all my disciplines, and I finally got this title shot that I've been like seeking for so long. And I was like, I'm gonna run through this guy. Like I have 10 fight win streak. Like, I'm good. I got armbarred in the first round.
Oh shit!
Damn, humbles you a little bit.
Yeah, I was like, damn. Like all that work I put in just for, and that was the longest fucking round ever, because I was like, damn, this round's not over yet. And then I got armbarred, and then like when he said the time, I was like, it happened that fast. It felt like we were fighting for 5 minutes.
What do you fight like? What? So let's say, do you fight for a specific reason? Like being in the Marine Corps is pretty hard by itself, and that's a career standalone. You can get out at 20 years, or you don't even have to fight or do 20 years. You are respected, and you have like a great title, great career. So why do you choose to also fight on top of the Marine Corps?
I feel like fighting is a way for me that I feel like I can give back to the rest of the world. I feel like when I look at myself, and the person that I want to display when I'm fighting, or when I'm doing these interviews, or when I'm talking to people, or when I'm talking to people about it, and they see how passionate I am about it. Just trying to inspire someone like I was inspired. Watched fighters, and I was like, I want to do that. I want somebody to watch me and be like, win or lose, like I want to be like, I want to fight like him, like, or whatever goal you're trying to achieve. Like I want to like take a risk. That's all it is. Like, not everybody fights. Like not everybody has the balls to step into the cage and fight in front of random 100 people and be vulnerable like that. Mm-hmm. In my last fight, I got manhandled. Dude fucked the fuck out of me, and I couldn't stand up. Literally, I mean, like in real life, if somebody could hold you down on the ground, what else can they do to you? You know, if you look at it like that.
Yeah.
The guy could have killed you. I mean, if I couldn't get up, like, he'd kill me. Like I can't get out of a situation. He has full control. I have no control. What else can he do to me? Obviously, in the cage, you only can do whatever you're allowed to legally do. But I want to inspire, whether it's kids, women, children, it doesn't matter who it is. I want to inspire people to either chase what they're doing or even become fighters. I'd love if they watch me and wanted to be a fighter, because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to spread my art. I want everybody to be doing martial arts. I feel like you should. I believe everyone should be able to defend themselves with some kind of stance and at least hand-to-hand combat. You don't always have a gun on you. You never know.
Exactly.
So you should be able to protect yourself. And like kids growing up, like, you know, kids get bullied. Usually you won't get bullied if you punch that kid in the face and he leaves you alone. When he realizes he can't mess with you without getting hurt. It's just like animals. Animals don't fuck with animals that are going to hurt them.
Exactly.
They only want easy, attainable prey that is going to use as little energy as possible. They're not going to be going out for like big things that are going to fucking stomp them to death. They're not going to take that risk.
What's the psychology behind your like future training? I think you brought up a great point. I've never really thought of it like that, but I mean, you say he out wrestled you, so like you taking the stance of like, damn, like he out wrestled me in a cage, but if it was real life and he manhandled me, like, does that make you be like, fuck, like I need to train harder? Or I mean, that's a scary thought. Like, it's a very real thought, though. You know, like if this was a street, I mean, granted, you could probably just run away or like escape once, right? But yeah, like, does that mess with you a little bit, or like, shit? Does it make you want to like up something? At least you know where you need work at.
Well,
like,
yeah.
What does that do to you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like from this last fight, I clearly got out grappled. Humbly, I can admit that I got out grappled. Did I do as much grappling as I wanted to this camp because of injuries and shit like that? No. But I mean, I grew up. I kind of was relying on the fact that I shouldn't forget how to wrestle. But like, it wasn't even that I forgot how to wrestle. I was doing everything right. It was just obviously he was training the craft more than me at that time, so he was a step ahead. Yeah. So obviously, you just gotta keep up with everything. If I'm gonna do like it's MMA, if I wanted to just focus on stand up, I would have just did boxing or kickboxing.
Did it go
obviously, I don't want to do that.
Did it go to split decision?
It was a decision. Oh, okay. It was He won. He won. Like I knew he won when we got over. I'm like, he won. There was no, unless the judges would have fucked that up, and even then I would have been like, okay, I guess we can. I'll give you a rematch, I guess, because obviously I think you won. Yeah. But obviously I'm not the judges, and I can't overturn my own decisions. But obviously it didn't play out like that. So obviously I need to go back to the drawing board and change a couple of things. But I mean, I also like that part. Yeah. I don't mind going back to the drawing board and recrafting my style. Obviously, my style before was working. I hit a roadblock. Now I need to change some things. Yeah. This is the time to do it. Obviously, at this level, I don't want to lose too much and try to learn that way. Yeah. I can learn in the gym with my teammates holding me accountable. Sure, Cody would have wrestled me and been like, hey, you need to be working on this, but we never got that chance. Yeah. So
this is something I actually wanted to go into. What's the prep work look like? Like you said, go back to the drawing board. What's the prep work look like going into a fight? Like whether it be making weight or like redoing your fighting style or what you're going to plan for, prep for, what's that look like?
So obviously it depends on the fight, what the opponent is, who the opponent is, what they're good and not good at, which is watching film and watching their fights. Because at this point, this was my fourth fight, and they're all viewable on everything. Because I've been lucky enough to have fights that are only on UFC Fight Pass and have the getting that wider viewership. But obviously that comes with people being able to watch what I do and
Yeah.
know how to negate it or what they can see to exploit. And the same goes for them. I always study my opponents. When I get an opponent, I obsess over that person. Like I'll stalk their Instagram. If their Instagram's open, I'll look through all their stuff, see what they like do, see what they like, see like who they like are studying, if they're like posting any of that stuff.
Some Dylan Dennis shit.
Huh?
You know who Dylan Dennis is?
Don't compare me to him.
No. What I'm saying.
No offense to him, but I mean he's not really a well-liked character in our community.
Yeah.
Just from what I've seen. But I don't know.
I fuck with him.
I mean, he's funny. I'll give him he's
fuck with
funny.
him.
But
I mean, that's maybe not some Dylan Dennis shit, but like you could do some Dylan Dennis shit at that point.
yeah. And plus, I'm doing that kind of like to prepare for my future because when I get to the bigger stage, like I'm gonna have to, you gotta up the shit talking. You need to know what you can target sometimes.
Yeah.
Middle forward, and I'll get into that in a second. But like going back to that, I literally will stalk my opponent.
Yeah.
If I have the resources to do so, I will look up everything about them, how tall they are, where they went to college, did they do sports in college, like what are they good at, so I can figure out how to exploit those things. Then like training, like I said, I spend my evenings training. So what I'll try to do is I'll try to work out at lunch, whether it's a run or lift, depending on what stage of camp I'm in. Then, or I'll like do like a bunch of I'll do shadow boxing throughout the day because I can do that anytime, anywhere.
Yeah.
And it may look stupid to other people, but like people that know that I'm fighting, they know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So like if I was shadow boxing in the middle of Santa Barbara at a corner, because
People are gonna be like, "What's up with that guy?" Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure people are gonna be like, "What is that guy doing?"
Yeah.
Fucking
The
weirdo.
boys on meth.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was just part of the game. Like I mean, it's no different than like somebody practicing free throws on the free throw line in the gym. Obviously,
that's
it's more
facts.
contained. You got to do what you got to do where you can. You can always train something. That's like my philosophy with training is you can always do something. If you're injured, if you're going through something, if you're at work, when you get a break, do like 50 push-ups. You do that like 10 times a day. You did 500 push-ups that day. You're 500 push-ups better than you were before. But then in the evenings, I'll go to training. Training's about like 3 hours, depending on what time I get there, from like 5 to 8, and I'll just train. And that's just whatever coach has prepared for me, my own things, my own physical things that I do. I have my own ritual that I do when I get there. Like I'll jump on the Aerodyne bike for 30 minutes straight. Try to keep my rotations per minute as consistent as possible between like 75 and 85 rotations per minute. So I'm going hard for like 30 minutes, and I just kind of keep that going. And that's how I test where my cardio is.
And you probably said this earlier, what gym do you train out of right now?
Coastal Combat in Oceanside, California.
Coastal Combat.
Shout out to Jake and
Oside.
Jordan, my coaches, and Josh. I guess I'll mention you too, you little bing bong.
Have you heard of Fight Strong in San Clem?
No. I don't really go up to San Clemente too much.
Okay.
But yeah, I haven't heard of them.
Fuck Oside. San Clem boys.
I mean, I guess that would make sense. If you were on that side of the
Yeah,
base.
you're on that side, yeah. What were you saying earlier? What was the question I asked you?
I thought you asked me. Was it like my training?
Yeah, I was asking the prep
the
going
prep
into the fight, but I know we talked about it when the cameras were off. But now that the pod's rolling, like, you want to go into the biggest cut you did?
So it was actually my first time cutting a 135. That's what weight I fight at, actually. I don't know what the camera adds, like 20 pounds, so it might look kind of big over here. But,
Me and Mitch are collectively
like
480 pounds.
Yeah, like roughly.
Versus 135. Guys, please tell us who wins.
That's my in camp weight. But and I'm only 135 for like a couple hours.
What are you sitting at, right? Or what do you sit at comfortably?
Like 170.
Huh? So every time you fight, you go to 130?
Yeah. 135.
No,
So I sit around at 170 when I'm eating whenever I fucking feel like it. Like last night I had fucking full rack of ribs with some onion rings and shit like that, and like fucking 3 micheladas. So
Hey,
There we go.
you like
Yeah.
micheladas?
I do.
Yeah.
We're gonna go get you some right now. After
But
this.
yeah, so I eat whatever I want outside of camp. Like I just eat.
Yeah.
Like I love food. Like I eat all the time. I eat as much as I can. I'll sit around at like my big cut. I was coming from Indonesia, so I was eating good there too. And for work, we were there for work. But was eating good because the food was cheap and it was like nice portions of food. So I came back, I was like 170. Coach is like, or my managers and all that guy. Shout out to my managers, Roman Athletic Institutions. They always get me good fights, give me good opportunities. I appreciate them very much. But yeah, anyways, they come back with an offer like September 15th. I think I got back in like July or the end of July, beginning of August. And I'm like 170. And they're like 135, Tough Enough. And I'm like, Tough Enough's a good show, Las Vegas show. I'm like, all right, I can do that. How much do you weigh right now? Coach, I'm like 170. He's like, you weigh 170? I was like, yeah, I was out there eating. I was like on vacation pretty much.
Yeah.
like, all right, well, I need you to get back in actual shape and then we'll start this damn cut. So I'm like, all right. So I do like my training is normal. Like I can shed off like 20 pounds pretty quickly. So I got down to 150 is usually when I start my cut, like my actual cut where I'm like trying to lose the 20 pounds. But I had to lose the first 15 first or whatever amount that was in. So whatever 170 to 155 is. So usually with that, I'll just run a lot. Run a lot with a bunch of sweaters on. Maybe a garbage bag from wrestling, old wrestling habit, homemade sauna suit.
So that's how I need to know because I have Austin, Texas.
Drop some knowledge for
in
us.
3 weeks. All right, so I want to go from 212 to 190, and I have 3 weeks.
You have 2 weeks, bro.
2 weeks.
2 weeks? What is that, 30 pounds?
10.
10
No, 20.
20 pounds?
Damn.
We met in the middle. 20 pounds?
All right, how do I lose 10 in 2 weeks?
10 in 2 weeks? That's easy. I lost 10 pounds in like 8 hours.
Yeah, but I need to keep it like consistent. Can I lose real weight? Can I lose 10 pounds in the next 2 weeks?
You could. You can water load. That's actually like my final part of my cut. So like my first part of my cut is I just get as close to my weight as I want to just by working out, training 3 or 4 times a day.
And you cut your calories down for this?
Kind of at this point, I slowly
Taper
down over the first 3 weeks until I get down to 155, and then I'll focus on the 20, which is mostly water weight. That's most of what I know. It may not look like it, but I guess your body retains a lot more water than you think.
It's like what 70% water or something like that, right?
I don't know the number.
Yeah. I think it's like 70%.
Yeah.
But like so, obviously you're depleting the fuck out of yourself, so you got to do this smartly. But my coach gave me this because before I used to just sweat myself out and starve myself. In the beginning of my career, I didn't start doing this water load until my last amateur fight is when I did this water load. My last time making 145. But you drink like we'll say like weigh-ins is 5 weeks or 5 days out. So we'll say 5 days out. So the first day of that 5 days out, you drink 2 gallons of water throughout the day. You got to chug 2 gallons of water. Not chug it, but you got to drink it throughout the day.
So you eat less for sure.
Yes. And you will gain all you're drinking 2 gallons of water. And a gallon of water is 8 pounds.
Yep. Yeah.
8 pounds?
No,
yeah. Yeah. So you're drinking 2 of those. So you're going to gain weight, but you're going to flush your system out.
Yeah.
And you drink this because you're like trying to make your kidneys flush more frequently. And they do. It works. The first time I was skeptical because I didn't do it fully right. So like it didn't work. Yeah. And then I was like fucking scrambling to lose the last weight. But these last 3 cuts to 135, it works really well. Because otherwise I wouldn't have fucking made it. But because I wouldn't have made that doing my old way. I would have died. I literally would have killed myself trying to starve myself to death to get to that weight. But you drink 2 gallons, then you drink 2 gallons again, then you drink a gallon. And you just taper the water. While doing this, you're also cutting out your sodium. Because obviously we're flushing out sodium. So that's what's holding your electrolytes is what's holding on to the water. I forgot the science, but there's like one part something holds on to this part of water or something. But you're flushing that, so you're completely like devoiding your system of electrolytes and not allowing your body to hold on to any water and pulling out all the water as well. So yeah, that's how you lose like most of that weight. I mean, the day before weigh-ins, you're drinking I drink like 20 fluid ounces of water. Like that's all I am allowed. So, and then also I'm still eating too. Like I always get skeptical when we get close, when we get to that, coach is like, yeah, you can still eat like a steak or something, obviously with no salt on it. Barker actually made me a really good steak with like just pepper on it. It was good. But it was probably because I was hungry. So anything's good when you're hungry. But yeah, that's like the water load is like that key thing. And like bodybuilders do it a lot. I think they drink more water. Like I think I was reading one and one guy was drinking 5 gallons of water. I don't even know if that's like
In a day?
healthy.
I don't even know if that's possible. To be
5
honest.
gallons in a day?
That's I don't. He might have been hyping it up in the video, but that's what he said. And I was like, "There's no way you're drinking 5." I can barely drink the 2. That hurts.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? 1.5 hurts for me.
But yeah, it's mainly the water load, and that's what you're doing like 5 days before. So you obviously got to like figure out. You should only be like cutting like 15% of your body weight during your actual cut. So you got to figure out those numbers, and obviously I'm gonna be a lot different than you because I'm like 7% body fat, and like so I don't have any like fat on me, so I'm not losing fat. I don't have fat to lose.
Yeah.
Like when I'm fighting, I'm probably like barely 5, maybe 4. I think I tested it. I was pretty close to like 5% body fat.
Damn.
That's impressive.
That's sick.
Yeah.
What constitutes a pro fighter versus an amateur? So you have your amateur career 9-5, and then your pro is 2-2. How do you split the? At what point do you know you're pro, or are you now on your pro record?
Well, I mean, you just kind of just say you're going pro, and it's just really the only difference besides like you go from fighting 3-minute rounds to 5 as a pro is you get paid. That's it.
Okay.
Amateurs don't get paid. The only way you get paid as an amateur is if you get paid through sponsors or if you sell a certain amount of tickets and they give you like a percentage. But
So, I guess, so you just say it? You're just like, I'm pro now.
pretty much after my last amateur fight, like at the end, because like my amateur career was really long. It was from 2017 to 2022. Yeah, 2022. And I like after that fight, I was like, well, I pretty much did everything. I won all the belts. I won the state title for California, and I defended that promotion, that big title for that promotion I was fighting for. So I was like, and I fought somebody I wanted to fight for a long time. So I was like, I did everything I wanted to do as an amateur, and I've been an amateur for a long ass time. It's time to get paid. So I was like, I'm a professional now. I vacate this title. I wanted my teammate to fight for it, the one I mentioned, Cody. I wanted him to fight for it. So I was like, I vacate, fucking let him fight for it.
Damn. So then you talk to your manager, and then they like.
Yeah, I like talked
out?
to my coaches. Well, I didn't have managers yet. So
Okay.
I talked to my coach, and I was like, hey, I think it's time to go pro. And all 3 of them unanimously agreed. So I was like, all right, I'm going pro. So then I like, in terms of getting fights, it either would have been like get managers so they can manage me and do all the stuff for me like they're supposed to, or that I pay them to do. Because obviously if I'm going to pay them, they should be doing stuff. I didn't mean that disrespectfully, Roman. I just meant like, I pay you.
Yeah.
Or it would have been my coach, like dual hatting, doing fights and training me, which he doesn't need that extra burden. Like he's already like doing the most for me, like training me. Like he's the main coach right now. Like he gets assistance from the other coach, Josh, and my other coach in Thailand is doing something in Thailand, so he's not here.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's not here to help. He'll like pop in every few months, but like he's not physically here.
Yeah.
So it's just Jake running the show, and like holding mitts, training, coaching, and everything. Like I'll help with coaching because I was like at this point I'm a professional. Like I can teach the amateur guys and help. Like I can provide them information and help them do better stuff and be better than I am. That's the goal, is make that next generation better. But he's doing everything. He's holding mitts. He's fucking training me, training the other guys too. It's just him. So like I don't need him also trying to find me fights. So luckily I found Roman athletic institutions, and they've been getting me good opportunities. All my fights that I've agreed to, looking at them, I'm like, oh, this is definitely like a good fight for me. Whether I win or lose is up to me at that point at the end of the day. But like they're setting me up for success.
Yeah.
And I appreciate them, man, getting me on these big stages. Like I fought for Cage Warriors twice. And like I said, that's a UFC feeder. Like people go from Cage Warriors to the UFC. Like you can go to the UFC from anything, but like just being on that stage already is nice. Because then once I like start fighting, like hopefully if I keep fighting with them, I'm not signed to them or anything, but like obviously if they ask me, they're gonna be like priority in my mind just because of where they are. Like I would love to go fight in Europe for them because that's where they're like based. They come to San Diego every once in a while, or once a quarter actually, and then most of their shows are in Europe. And I'd love to go fight in Europe. That'd be fucking sick.
Yeah.
So I hope they see this and see that I want that. But yeah, like I get these opportunities from them, and they get the fights for me, and then I just say yes, which I never said no to anybody. I say yes to every fight. They could put John Jones on a contract. I would fucking I'll fight him. Get my ass kicked, but I'll still fight him.
Yeah. What fighters do you look up? Like, do you have like a favorite UFC fighter or anyone like you look at and you're like, oh, I like their style, who they are, what they stand for?
So the fighter that really got me into martial arts that I started watching was John Jones.
Okay.
John Bones Jones. He was, from my perspective, he was a black fighter and he was dominating. So that gave me I didn't see a lot of, at the time, I didn't see a lot of black fighters. There was Rampage and all those dudes, but I didn't know them yet.
Yeah.
I was just kind of on YouTube watching highlights, and one of his highlights popped up. And he was spinning back elbowing people and slamming them all over the place. I was I wrestled. And I was so all I need to do is need to learn how to strike. And I could pretty much, and he was built long and lanky like him.
Yeah.
So it was all right, you don't got to be all super jacked. You can be a little skinny and thin and lean and still fucking fuck people up. So he was the first one. Anderson Silva was a big second. Unfortunately, I caught him at the point when he was losing.
Yeah.
So the first fight I saw of him, he got KO'd by Chris Weidman, and I was oh, that was a fluke. This guy's the GOAT. They're all saying obviously he slipped on a banana peel or something.
Yeah.
But then I saw him get his leg broke, and I was ah shit, god damn it. But then I would watch old highlights, and I was man, I would love to be able to fight like him, move like him, touch, all that stuff. But sometimes you kind of see that in my fights. I don't got the best head movement, but I do have good head movement. I'm pretty elusive, even though I can't fucking see anything. I can see and kind of feel what punches and kicks are coming, and I can kind of see them the way I fight, I guess. And styles like that, I try to emulate like them. So that's why I'm more of a striker than I am a wrestler. It's because those are my two favorite fighters. And then right now, my favorite fighter, I'd have to say, my big favorite fighter for a while was Tony Ferguson. Unfortunately, he's on kind of a decline.
The tail
right
end
now.
of his career.
They kind of, I feel like they kind of did him dirty by not giving him title shots when he deserved them.
Yeah.
100%, especially when he was on that 12-fight win streak. What are you doing? People are getting title shots with less.
Yeah.
This dude ran through 12 people, which is hard to do. Getting to the UFC is hard. Winning in the UFC is hard. Beating 12 people in a row in the UFC is super hard.
His weight division, too, is
and at 155 of all divisions. It wasn't like he was doing that at flyweight or women's any division.
Yeah.
No offense to women. I love women. I love women fighters too, but divisions aren't that strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they did him dirty, I feel like. I really wish we could have saw Khabib versus Tony, but it didn't happen.
No. Khabib would have fucking mauled the guy.
I still would have wanted to see it. I still would have been on Team Tony the whole way. I feel like he would have cut him on one of those takedowns, and then
no way.
Khabib would have saw his own blood for the first time, and then he would have broke him. I feel like that would have happened.
Damn.
Because Khabib's never been hurt, so you never know how.
Know how
you react.
I don't think Tony Ferguson was the guy to hurt Khabib.
I don't think so.
I don't think anyone's hurting that guy.
That's just my take, and that's just because I'm a big Tony. I'm biased.
Mm-hmm.
So I was biased too, with Conor McGregor and Khabib, and I put money on Conor against my roommate, lose. And I never bet against Khabib, and I became a very big fan of Khabib after that fight.
Yeah, I was sad when he retired. I was he could have definitely held the reins for that division for a while.
Do you think anyone would have beat him?
I would have liked to see.
I think every fighter and man will have their day eventually.
Yeah,
but they're you have to respect when someone is so disciplined, to their craft and to who they are. As much as you want to say, or I say everyone's gonna have their day. Of course he'll take the L, but you can't say that to someone who legit just won't allow it to happen. So I don't know. I've always wondered, damn, could any of you guys think anyone would have?
I would have liked to see him, especially if the Charles Oliveira that ran through Michael Chandler, Dustin Poirier, and Justin Gaethje. I would have liked to see that. I know he also ran through Beneil Dariush and Tony Ferguson before Tony Ferguson was on this bigger losing streak.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to see Charles Oliveira, because he definitely earned his way up there from the bottom, fight Khabib. I feel like Islam is a better striker, so I feel like that really helped them when they fought. But I feel like Khabib isn't as good as a striker as Islam.
Yeah.
So I wonder how Charles would have managed, because obviously he would have been able to do the grappling thing.
Yeah.
With them, but I don't know. Obviously Khabib's also huge. He's a big.
Yeah. Well, now he's fucking massive.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've seen things where it says he cuts from 200 to get to 155.
Yeah. Now he's at 200. That boy's nuts. So I guess kind of last thing. So overall, what do you plan to achieve through fighting?
So like I mentioned earlier, I said I give myself until 35 for my pro career. And I kind of accepted just because like a lot of these kids are like, literally a lot of these actual kids, like I can say kids now because I'm almost 30. These kids are like training at like 10 years old and then like are getting into the UFC. There was like one, whatever, Raul Rosas Jr.
Yeah.
The kid was in high school.
Yeah.
He's already in the fucking UFC. So like there's literal kids in the UFC and I'm almost 30. So I'm already fucking behind. Like I'm old. So I want to see how far I can make it. I just want to try to make it to a big promotion. Whatever I got to do that, I'm going to figure it out. If that just means dedicating full time to fighting, I mean, I'll do that. If that's what it means. I know that's going to suck for the beginning, but it'll be worth it if I, one, accomplish this dream, and two, if I make it to the big stage and do well, then obviously it was a good gamble. You got to bet on yourself sometimes. But my main thing is I do want to open my own gym. And I only want to make it to the big show so I have the accolade to be like, train with me. I've never trained under a person that has huge accolades.
Yeah.
And my coaches, I haven't had like, none of my coaches, I love them and I respect them obviously, but none of my coaches are like UFC world champions or anything like that. They're just guys who love martial arts and wanted to teach. That's
so
what
you want to make it to give back.
Yeah, I just want to make it just so I have the accolades. So it's just like, it'll be easier to sell, like, well, getting sponsorships and then also being like, learn from me.
Yeah.
Like, I want people when they think of martial arts one day, they like, oh, have you met Professor Xavier? That's my fight name is the Professor, but I actually want to be like a professor of martial arts. Like, I want them to, like, when people refer to me, like, that's my professor, like, he's my coach.
Yeah.
Like, he is who you want to learn from. Like, I want to be one of those great minds in martial arts. Like, that's what I want to do. I literally want to dedicate my life to martial arts and teaching. That's like my main thing is I want to spread this passion that I have. I want other people to be this passionate.
Yeah.
And that's like my whole thing. Even though I'm like coaching little kids and stuff like that and like teaching them principles that I believe in that I feel like you should learn at a young age. Just like, respect and discipline and dedication to something you want to do. And whether or not they become fighters after this is whatever. But if they can, use those to whatever they're trying to achieve, whether they become doctors or officials, politicians, whatever thing they want to be, I don't care.
And I do believe it helps. My my mortgage broker, he's a black belt in BJJ, and then he does judo as well. And yeah, you just carry it like with you. It just becomes a way of life. But nothing near fighting, but he just spends hours a day into that craft. I feel like fighting humbles people and just like you just feel good about yourself. I did train a little bit when I was in the Marine Corps at Fight Strong, and I just felt like a better person. Like I didn't feel like that is where I went to, like my outlet for aggression to literally get humbled, right? Because it's nice sometimes when there's knowing that you're not as hot as you think.
Yeah, but
real people
gives
out
you
there.
a different perspective. Like there's still people on my team that I go with him. Bill, actually, I go with him, and like he hasn't trained in because he has kids and shit, so he hasn't trained for so long. Yeah. And then I'll like go with him, and he's still like getting me. I'm still falling for his little tricks because he's super he's not flashy, but he's super damn, what's that word? I don't know. I'm having the CTE's kicking in. He has like little sneaky techniques that he like sneaks in that interrupt what you're trying to do, and I still fall for them. I'm like, God damn it, Bill! Like, you literally haven't been here in like a full week of training in hella months,
but it keeps you on your
and
game.
I've been fucking fighting for like this whole time, pretty much as I can, and you're still catching me with this bullshit, and I can't touch you still.
Yeah,
but it keeps me humble because it's like I'm not the best guy in the gym, so it keeps me like there's still work to be done.
Yeah. Sure.
And I like that. So it's not like I hate him for it. I love him for it, actually.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on, making the drive.
Yeah.
You're obviously leaving on a deployment here shortly, so no one will be seeing you fight soon. But is there any expectations for a next fight or just the next plan for you?
Yeah. So probably at the end of the year when we come back, I'll probably try to get one in, or the beginning of next year.
Okay.
And I'll definitely will be hungry for a fight, seeing as I unfortunately ended with a loss, and definitely going to be hungry for the next one. And I feel bad for the next person, honestly.
There we go. So December, January, maybe we'll P2 this. We'll talk about deployment life, and then talk about the next coming fight.
Yeah.
Is there anything you got? Anything you want to shout out or promote before?
Just the shout outs I was doing before, do want to shout out to, anybody watching this. I appreciate and love you for your support, obviously. And then obviously I want to shout out, my team, Coastal Combat, and my managers, Roman Athletic Institution, for, making this dream a reality for me. And then obviously putting me in situations where I get to be on things like this. So thank you. And obviously I appreciate you guys
of course.
having me on, obviously.
So let's see. I pray for you. I have high hopes for you. And I hope you can achieve all that you got going on. So thank you for coming on. Appreciate it. Guys, we'll see you on the next one.